From the potential he showed in high school and college, to scandal and disappointment potentially marking the end of his career, here's the rise and fall of Zion Williamson. You can't deny that the Pelican star is talented, and he's been showing off that talent since his high school days. In his freshman year, for instance, the Wofford Terriers from his hometown of Spartanburg offered him a basketball scholarship. He didn't sign with them, of course, going with Duke College instead in 2016. The Zion hype was building already, as he was rated a 5-star recruit by rivals, 247 Sports and ESPN, and all three ranked him as a top 10 pick. When asked why he chose Duke of all colleges, Williamson explained that he was excited to work with their coach, Mike Krzyzewski, a legend among college basketball coaches. At this point, though, he wasn't commanding the sort of attention he would get later on. He rose to fame while playing for Duke, as in his very first game at the college, he pulled off a double-double. When his first season began, he led the team to decisive wins over Kentucky and Army and other teams, scoring over 25 in each one. The Atlantic Coast Conference named him their Player and Freshman of the Week, the first of many awards. After demolishing a few more teams, he broke Marvin Bagley and J.J. Redick's single-game points records as Duke freshman. Those achievements made Zion the most talked-about basketball player in the college scene, and even NBA fans were excited to see what was in store for him. If you weren't paying attention at the time, you might be wondering what made him so special. You see, the thing that set him apart from other players was the combo of his build, which was stocky and muscular, and the way he moved about the court, which was Sonic the Hedgehog. While players build their skills through training, their role in a team is usually defined by their bodies. But by being so much more agile than his figure would suggest, Duke's MVP was pretty much impossible to guard and could fit into almost any role on a team. That sort of magic has been just once before, and he's a guy you might have heard of, LeBron freaking James. That's what people were looking for from Zion, the second coming of King James. And you know what? When he was at Duke, he honestly looked like he could deliver, and that's kind of mind-blowing. So that's why basketball players fell in love with Zion. But the Nike incident pulled in even casual fans. Nike will make deals with just about any baller, so y'all know they were all over Zion as soon as they got the chance. In February of 2019, the Duke squad was playing against none other than Unk, and their star was rocking a custom pair of Paul George's signature kicks. Only 36 seconds into the match, though, one of his shoes blew out on him, and he went tumbling onto the hardwood. It turned out that he suffered a minor knee sprain, but before that was revealed, people were really mad at Nike for stopping a once-in-a-generation career in its tracks. Since sneakers are so popular these days, non-basketball fans got invested in the Zion story too, and all the bad press took over $1 billion off the swoosh's stock value. The incident also brought the heat on the NCAA, which notoriously doesn't pay student athletes, nor does it offer workers' comp. Some people accuse Zion of using the incident to his own advantage, though, as when he signed a signature shoe deal with Jordan Brand. It was the second biggest rookie shoe deal of all time behind bronze. People cared so much about Williamson that they wanted him to stop college basketball, and he did sit out the last 6 games of the regular season. Why? Because he was already the top draft prospect in 2019, and it wouldn't do for his career to be cut short at Duke. The New Orleans Pelicans won the draft lottery that year, and they wasted no time in trying to nab Williamson with their very first pick. Zion didn't pass up the opportunity either, and he signed a deal worth $200 million, rubbishing rumors that he'd spend more time at Duke. So Zion Williamson was going to the pros. Unfortunately, his early NBA games showed some signs of things to come. The guy tore his meniscus during the preseason, and while the Pelicans lost his professional debut, he did score and put up his trademark high numbers, scoring 22 points with 7 rebounds and pulling off 17 of those points in just over 3 minutes. Now, he only played for 18 minutes, and that set the tone for his stint at the Pelicans from his first season to the 2022 to 2023 season. The Pelicans played over 300 games. How many of those games included their $200 million star purchase? Under half. A team will play around 80 games in a regular season, and in the 3 seasons that Zion has spent with the Pelicans, he only played more than half the games in one. The 2020 to 2021 season, his first season was just 24 games, and 2022 to 2023 was a little better with 29 games. As the years have gone by, Zion has become famous not for being a brilliant player, but for how little he shows off his talents. Folks, especially ones who don't like the Pelicans, have been itching for a chance to declare Zion a bust, but they don't have a rock-solid case for that just yet. For the time that Zion does spend on the court, he does give the Pelicans what they paid for, regularly averaging around 25 points a game and maintaining a cool 60% field goal average. He could honestly be the game-changing player that could carry the Pelicans to the championships, but not with such terrible attendance. And that begs the question, why is he such a no-show? It's not entirely Zion's fault, usually anyway. That torn meniscus was just the first of many injuries he'd suffer in his NBA career, as the guy often finds himself sitting out large stretches of the season because of some injury or the other. Some have suggested that Zion's play style doesn't suit his frame, and that puts more wear and tear on his body than normal for a baller. LeBron trains like crazy, which is why he doesn't have problems, and that's another reason why Zion is often missing in action. The guy isn't as disciplined about his health as he maybe should be, which the world got to see while he was rehabbing from a foot injury. In leaked paparazzi photos, it was clear that the guy had picked up a bunch of weight. Now, you can't follow your usual basketball training regimen when you're injured, but you should at least stay in shape. When Zion rejoined the team, he weighed 284 pounds, and that led the Pelicans to add a clause to his contract extension. He would have to weigh in now and then, and if he ever got over 295 pounds, he'd have to pay fines and other penalties. To his credit, he did stop his weight gain, but that he was still just as prone to injuries, and the Pelicans had just about had enough of him. Amid rumors that the Pelicans might trade him away in the 2023 draft season, the biggest crisis of Zion's career struck. In June of 2023, Zion and his girlfriend Akima announced that they had a baby girl on the way. The couple posted a video of the gender reveal party to YouTube, and in the video, the dad-to-be told his daughter that no matter what happened, her parents would always love her. The happiness was cut short by adult film star Mariah Mills, who unleashed a Twitter storm in the wake of the announcement. Apparently, Zion was having an affair with Mariah, and he had her convinced that she was the main chick, going so far as to discuss her relocating to New Orleans on his own dime. Mills was less offended by the fact that her man had another girl, but that he was having a baby with, in her words, the cheap, fake, and toxic person. What's worse, she apparently has and she's out for revenge. She threatened the NBA and the Pelicans to trade Zion away, and if they didn't, the tapes were hitting the internet. Zion's attempts at damage control didn't work, and while the threats got Mariah banned from Twitter, she's still out there, and as far as anyone knows, she's still got the tapes. Poor Zion was already on thin ice with the Pelicans, and this might cement their decision to trade him, but that's only if any other team wants to take him and his baggage. From his career being threatened by to glory days as Duke's next big star, that was the rise and fall of Zion Williamson.